Good morning, fellow Malaysians. This is Matthias Chang from Future Fast Forward once again. Since November 14th, way before the results of November 19th, the Johor by-election, I've been exercising my brain as to how to formulate a speech or this video to share my concerns and the problems faced by the country. We have heard way before the 14th election that this country needs reformasi of major institutions and the political narrative of our country. All this while hearing the shouts of reformasi, to reform the judiciary, right, on corruption, on various other institutions, I've yet come across any leader, be it political, religious or otherwise, across the entire divide, those in government and those in opposition, to address and to focus on one fundamental issue. What do we need to do to inculcate and or to nurture the highest standards, or the striving to the highest standards of morality, values, that is the bedrock of any society? None. And yet, the official religion of our country in the constitution is Islam, for which I respectfully and for which I'm studying every day from the Quran to learn better about this official religion, as well as other religion which must be allowed to practice in our country. So we have Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, etc., etc. But what really captures, in my view, the rot, the shit, and the degeneration of our values is what's happened and will happen, and is happening to a very sacred institutions, what I call the holy cow, Tabung Haji, which way back in 2005 was exposed and having suffered tremendous losses. Now, and as a result of either mismanagement, corruption, or cheating, what have you. Okay. Ask anyone in our country, my dear fellow Malaysians, they will condemn, they will be disgusted with vehemence. Anyone undermining the integrity of any institutions that's entrusted with money for the purposes of God Almighty. In the case of Tabung Haji, Allah, there is an act that governs Tabung Haji. It's called the Tabung Haji Act, 1995. Okay. And the main objective of Tabung Haji is to ensure and to provide financial assistance to all Muslims in Malaysia to perform the sacred duty once in a lifetime, as required in the Quran, to make a pilgrimage to Mecca for the Hajj. The other objectives in the act is secondary to its primary objective. It is a holy mission, a holy responsibility to ensure fellow Muslims can perform that holy duty of Hajj in Mecca. Yet, their institutions have been subverted cannibalized as a result of the lust, greed for finance and power. Now, let me just say to you, right, what is so wrong in our society? Because what has happened in Tabung Haji till today personified is the microcosm, the way even religion is used for the ends of politics, as opposed to the ends objective of Allah. Let me now quickly tell you what happened, okay? As exposed by Bank Negara. Bank Negara in 2005 exposed that the financial situation at Lembaga Tabung Haji will make it difficult in the future for the Lembaga to play an effective role in helping Muslim pilgrims to perform their Hajj. Okay? This is what happens. The sorry lack of adequate experience and expertise on the fund's board of directors that consists of high-powered people with Tan Sris and what have you, to tackle the problems which call for immediate rectification by appointing more competent new members. And what was specifically complained about was that Lembaga has violated Section 21 of the Lembaga Tabung Haji Act of 1975, which stipulates that the reserves must match liabilities, and also Section 22 of the Act, which says that it must not issue bonuses that exceed its profits. And that any collapse of the Lembaga Tabung Haji would be extremely serious for the government and taxpayers. Because under Section 24 of the same Act, the fund is guaranteed a bailout should it founder. Okay? And then what happened was, it was discovered the fund was misused for political purposes. When it became known that in May, the fund paid a huge premium of 188.5 million to purchase a development plot from one MDB, which enabled that fund to cover a pressing debt payment. Tabung Haji was used to bail out one MDB. Okay? And then it was also discovered that one MDB involved in an investment in an oil and gas project. Okay? Now just pause. The only institution that has a world ranking, top 500 companies in the world, all right, respected all over the world on its expertise, is Petronas. So why would Tabung Haji divert its scarce resources in investing in Tabung Haji Heavy Engineering Berhad, a floater production and offshore storage and offloading scheme? Can you imagine that? A pilgrimage fund gone rogue in such investment, a bit empowered by the Act. But what you have to ask, why would the Tabung Haji, a fund for pilgrimage, go off tangent to such high-risk commercial activity when we have Petronas, right, with all the expertise to be involved in oil and gas? Likewise, one MDB, is it? No expertise in that area, but the first venture outside was with Petro Saudi, involving all kind of so-called oil and gas investment. Let me just pause here and come back to the main issue. Now, Tabung Haji is not any other company or any other tabung. It is a government-controlled company. It consists of one of the five GLIC, Government-Linked Investment Corporation. At the peak of the pyramid of the Bumiputra crown jewels. Okay? Below these 5 GLIC are 20 GLCs, government investment companies, government-linked companies, right? And below that, you have more than 68,000 companies under their charge. Can you see the pyramid? 6 GLIC, 20 GLCs, and then they own, either majority owned or minority owned, many other companies. And this huge edifice controls, right, 42% of Bursa Malaysia. Huge octopus controlled by the Bumiputra. I can assure you, and I challenge any government leaders, that all these GLICs and GLCs, right, has more than met the target of 30% equity of Bumiputra in listed companies. That in fact, Bumiputra controls the economy of this country, as opposed to the lie, the myth, that non-Bumiputra controls the economy and oppresses, exploits the Muslims and Bumiputra, this company. I will explain that in more detail. Right? Let me assure all my Muslim friends and Malay friends, I'm with you. I'm fighting for you, and I'm going to expose the shit and the hypocrisy, the double standard that's going on. You have been accused of being lazy, useless, and you always lag behind the so-called Chinese and other races. Therefore, there should be equality between the incomes of the respective communities. Lie, filthy lie, and propaganda. I've said in my previous video that if Malaysia was 100% Bumiputra, Malays 100%, there will be elites, the handful of filthy rich Malays, which has an income so far in excess of the Orient Malays. And there will be inequality between the filthy rich Malays and the masses of Malays, working their guts out for a living. Why has not the Malay elites admit to that? Why emphasize there is inequality of income and outcomes between the Malays and all the other races? Bullshit! Bullshit! Let me say to all of you Malays and my Muslim friends, the bulk of you have been brainwashed to think that you are useless, you are lazy, and you need the government for a tongkat. And so you are a flock of sheep, the vote bank that will always vote for a Malay party. And the elites, you think they believe that kind of propaganda? They have been selected, recruited, and groomed to control the levers of the Bumiputra economy. Okay? Even on religion, they control and they brainwash you. Alright? Like I said in my previous videos, Bersatu got little power, no money. UMNO has money, no political power. But in reality, right, the stranglehold on money is beyond party. Be it PKR, Bersatu, PAS, Amanah, or UMNO. It's the elites that controls the crown jewels of the Bumiputra economy. Alright? It's not racial, huh? This is reality. Now let me come back to Tabung Haji. Tabung Haji personified the aspiration, the quest of the entire Malay community, the Muslim community, to fulfill a sacred obligation to perform the Hajj once in a person's lifetime. Smashed to smithereens, smashed by corruption, okay, a bit by the previous Najib regime, okay, and other hypocrites But now we have a phenomenon. After disclosure by Bank Negara of the filth that has happened in Tabung Haji, I would like to ask a question to all my Muslim friends, especially past leadership. You insisted that only Muslim leaders must be in control of all the key levers of power. Judiciary, Attorney General Chambers, the Minister of Finance, Army, whatever, must be in absolute control by a Muslim. Better to have a Muslim leader who is corrupt than a non-Muslim who is not corrupt. This is the call. And to me, to my dear fellow Muslims, this is a blasphemy, a distortion of the teachings of Allah in the Quran. Why do I say that? Very simple. Who has committed the crimes, that subversion of the Quran and Islam in Malaysia? When at all material times, all the relevant institutions, the government-linked investment companies and the government-linked companies are in the hands and control of Muslim leaders. And yet, we have demands for Sharia law to be implemented, Hudud to be implemented. And we have a Sharia court system that's supposed to implement Allah's laws. Fine. There are certain areas where the Sharia court have no criminal jurisdiction. Fine. How about the moral authority? Despite all this nonsense happening in Tabung Haji, as a Sharia court system, hold them out to ensure this crime against Allah is not repeated. See, we have a lot of enforcement officers, right, from various Islamic institutions. They raid houses to catch people who commit khalwat and other, to us, non-Muslims, seeing this way, what's happening is secondary to the subversion, the daylight plunder and financial rape of a hallowed holy institution, Tabung Haji. Alright? Nothing's been done to today. Albeit some of them, previous chairman, Aziz, has been arrested, right, and charged on bail now, okay, for his rubbish. Let me see. I think I have a picture. Let me see. Yes. He was a chairman, and he was the one supposedly, right, involved in this mess. Now, under the Act, the person in charge and have control of Tabung Haji is the minister in the PM's department. And as defined by the Act, the minister refers to the minister charged with the responsibility for pilgrimage control. Okay? So this is a very specific person charged with the integrity, all right, and the financial integrity of Tabung Haji. So let's move forward now. 215, Bank Negara, all right, exposed the nonsense. Now it's very interesting. On 14th November, 5 days before the polling day in the Johor election, right, there was a news report, Star Online. It says here, quoting bernama, the government will bear 10.3 billion premium to ensure the financial health of Lembaga Tabung Haji, bracket LTH, is restored as part of the rescue and restructuring plan of the Privilege Fund. Urus Harta Jamaah Sinbahad UJSB announced on Thursday, November 14th. Repeat that. On November 14th, we, the Rakyat, especially the Muslims, were told there's a rescue effort via a wholly owned company of MOF called Urus Harta Jamaah Sinbahad UJSB. Announced on the 14th November 2019. But interestingly, next paragraph says, right, UJSB, which is the wholly owned unit of Ministry of Finance, MOF, completed the transfer of non-performing assets valued at 9.63 billion held by LTH in December last year, following financial mismanagement and wrongdoing by the previous management. The rescue was completed in December of 2018. Can you see that? But this news of the rescue, of the bailout, was announced almost a year, in November 14th. Why? Why was not this disclosed earlier? Why was the rescue, so-called rescue, whatever, under wraps? Be that as it may, when Pakatan took over, or rather even when during Najib's horrendous rule, why was no select committee, I repeat that, select committee established in Parliament to investigate, to review, and come up with a report? Please Google the purpose and use of a select committee of Parliament. Now we talk about reformasi. They have now to overpower Pakatan Harapan. I was told, I wouldn't have the exact number, that at least 11 select committees has been established for reformasi, various areas. But there's an area where governs the moral core of our country. No select committee to investigate. MOF, yes. No report by the minister in the PM's department charged with the supervision of the Bahaji under the Act. Nothing. Nothing. Neither has the cabinet said. But on quietly, they do this. Why? Why they hide this? I was told maybe it's because the politicians of the view that, well, we cannot embarrass Tabung Haji, or that Muslims will be offended that this Tabung Haji has injustice shits, but already been disclosed by Bank Negara, isn't it? Surely, by not taking the bulls by the horn, we have created a moral hazard. People have not learned the true criminality and the subversion of Tabung Haji. Surely, if you want to talk about reformasi, of the reform of our country, it must start with the institutions entrusted with the holy duty to help the performance of Hajj of every Muslim in this country. If that is not addressed at all, to be frank with everyone else, any other reformasi of any other institutions, is cock and bull, rhetoric, propaganda. If those values are not held, okay, and now adding insult to injury, Tabung Haji is used as a political weapon by the Minister of Finance, Lim Guan Eng. Maybe, I don't know, because he seems to say that all these things are happening with the knowledge of the Prime Minister Tun Mahathir and what have you. Regardless, what is the modus operandi? The fact it was announced on the 14th of November is an attempt, in my view, by Lim Guan Eng to try and Pakatan Harapan to win Malay votes, Muslim votes. You see, I have already saved Tabung Haji, 10.3 billion. Be grateful lah. Huh? You accuse me of being a Chinese, Colin says. See, I as a Chinese is offering, right, a rescue package for Tabung Haji. Be grateful lah. Simultaneously, in order to add to his credential as being fair to Malaysians and to Malays, there's political blackmail to MCA and TAR University College. You kowtow, you relinquish ownership of TAR, you get 40 million. And now I was told that this 40 million will be given to an alumni of TAR University College. It has nothing to do with TAR College. You see, again, on one hand, Tabung Haji, mismanagement, misappropriation, corruption, offences have been committed. You know, huge rescue. TAR University College, since 1969, not one hint of mismanagement. Represented by representatives from Ministry of Education and Ministry of Finance. And surprisingly, maybe Tun Mahathir forgot, because he always say Melayu mudah lupa. Between 1969 and 2018, the government has paid over 1.63 billion in helping TAR University College, of which from 1981 to 2003, Tun Mahathir as a Prime Minister was responsible for disbursing 544 million, almost a third of the total spent on TAR College. Both were announced just before the by-election. So what's the difference between the modus operandi of Pakatan Harapan in enticing voters, giving a bait with money, and previously government, not just government, the same. But what is disturbing to me is how Tabung Haji issue has been weaponized as a political weapon in order to seduce and entice Muslim Malay votes. Otherwise, why announce just before the election? Can you not see this? So I hope you understand why I'm so strident and vehement in exposing all these things. Some of you has condemned me. Matthias, how can you do that? Right? You used to support Tun Mahathir. You were so loyal to him. Now you whack him. I don't whack Tun Mahathir. I whack the policies if it's wrong. And how can you expect me to keep my mouth shut when I see hypocrisy, double standard, and the very systematic brainwashing of a large sector of our country, the hard-working Malay Bumiputera community? You see how they twist and turn, they manipulate your emotions just so as to feed their lust and their greed for power. Nothing else, I'm telling you. View objectively, it's all about power. I don't give a shit who wins the power. BN UMNO, okay, or Pakatan, PKR bersatu. Same. Now, what's more insidious is this, okay? Why would Lim Guan Eng use this opportunity? You see, he used 10 billion to entice, to buy over votes, and used 30 million as a dagger for political blackmail. Okay? Now I don't know who's boarding whose dagger to kill. Okay? Alright? But I would say to the whole country, when Guan Eng dangled a 30 million, now increased to 40 million, and asked MC, you relinquish control of TAR UC, I'll give the money, is wielding a dagger, right, to threaten. So Guan Yin becomes a dagger, isn't it? Useful tool to plunge into the heart of the Chinese community. Now, he was also a willing dagger, or bait indirectly, to plunge into the heart of the Malay Muslim community. Because by dangling that bait in a very subtle way, he's offering, right, monetary incentives, isn't it? Corruption, bribe, in a moral sense, not criminal sense, under the criminal penal code, in a moral sense, is you are voting for insidious objective. We have money to rescue Tabung Haji. Okay lah, we can move forward. You see, the rescue was planned and completed in 2018. And being an accountant, dia punya attitude, right? You know, zero-based budget is sapu away these laws so that, right, Tabung Haji under Pakatan Harapan is clean, virgin, bersih. Alright? But the debt is still there. The debt is still there. A big caused by bastards, criminals. But as a responsible government, you tell the truth, no double standard, and you say why? But you don't use such means to entice. You tell the family, the national family, we have a problem. This is the problem. But we will not compound the problem, right, and create moral hazard, but will solve it in a just, transparent, open manner. And why the danger of this so-called settlement? Let me read to you. It's from Hedger, the Age Daily News, I think. Yeah, the Age Financial Daily. Let me read to you. Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya is to bear the difference of 10.3 billion between the price at which Lembaga Tabung Haji non-performing assets were transferred to a state-owned company and the market value of the assets. This was announced by the company Urus Harta Jemaah Berhad, UJSB, which is a special purpose vehicle formed by the Finance Ministry to assist in the rehabilitation of the asset taken over from Tabung Haji. This is the key sentence. In the event the value of assets depreciates further, then the losses for the government will be higher than 10.3 billion. UJSB said in a statement. So, have they really solved the problem? When, by a statement by the own controlled company, Urus Harta Jemaah Berhad, then the losses will be even exceed 10.3 billion. Alright? So have they solved the problem? But the way it is conveyed to the people, oh, Lim Guan Eng, MOF, and the Pakatan Harapan government is a knight in shining armor. They may, by this statement, solve or postpone the day of reckoning financially. But on a moral plane, on an integrity plane, to ensure that this country is on the right path of integrity, they failed. Because the nature of the announcement, the timing, and the objective was purely political. Okay? To create an image that Pakatan Harapan and Lim Guan Eng is so haloed, so clean, so bersih, so willing to help solve the problem. But the agenda is political. You see, they accuse MCA Guan Eng of having controlled TAUC. And because you're MCA Your integrity is to be questioned. You cannot be trusted. Notwithstanding from 1969 to 2008, not one hint of misappropriation or corruption or any offense. But he now, see, MOF, Guan Yin, Mr. Finance, is DAP. But we are supposed to assume, even though he's DAP, he is virgin, objective. But any other party, right, cannot be trusted because they are in opposition. You see? A sleight of hands. DAP. Alright? Is he right to promote DAP? Am I not right to assume that because he's a minister from DAP, alright, he wants to portray image, he can be trusted? If so, don't weaponize as a political weapon, as a political tool to entice Malay votes. Do it as a matter of principle. Announce it as a matter of principle, but not at a time and place to entice Muslim votes. That is your exposure. The hypocrisy which can be exposed. That's why I decided to do this speech today. Alright? This is very dangerous to you, my fellow Malaysians. You better realize it. How subtle is this ploy, this political ploy? Alright? It's racial as well. I'm for all Malaysians. I'm not racial. I'm not a bigot. I respect. I'm sensitive. Bullshit, horseshit. Then you don't weaponize Tabung Haji issue at a time and place in Johor, isn't it? After all, this restructuring was in December 2018. See, Allah is great, you know. God is great. You can have all this, you know, manipulations, schemes, conspiracies to enhance your ego, your arrogance of power. But God will assure He will boomerang on you and DAP and Pakatan Harapan because you use something very holy, something very sacred, like institutions, to promote a sacred duty once in a lifetime, the Hajj, for political agenda and the political end. This is the deviousness of this ploy, this election ploy. And for almost a week or more, I've been at pains whether or not to address this issue to the country, and I consult my friends. Therefore, as a result of my consultation and my further thinking and researching, I've decided to share my view with you. Because such politicians, as personified by Lim Guan Yin, and whoever agrees with that weaponization of Tabung Haji as a tool to entice votes, are very dangerous politicians. They are leading us down the road of no return. Nothing is sacred. The end justifies the means. If the means is the end is right, hold on to power. Hold on to self-aggrandizement, self-promotion. Any change? I don't think so. I don't think so. So maybe, just maybe, we will all wake up to reality. And we will be hoodwinked into believing that we can be easily, right, misled, waylaid, as sheeples. Please, my fellow Malaysians, wake up to this national danger. Don't be loud by sophistry, the rhetoric of any politicians. I'm telling you, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. 60 years they smell the aroma of power. They sought and fantasized that they were the key to the vault of the national treasure. Now they got it. power addiction is worse than heroin opium addiction. Right? With that, I thank you for your attention. I may once again appeal to all of you. Surrender unconditionally to Allah. Have absolute faith that He will protect, defend, and guide us under all circumstances. Because if you uphold this principle, you will not fall the trap in which these politicians have created for us to entrap us. We will be on a straight and narrow path of righteousness, of justice and truth. I'm going to show you. Otherwise, you won't have the courage and the resilience to take them on, to speak to power, even a great sacrifice to oneself and to one's family. And I hope you will all be empowered when you grasp the truth that's presented to you today. Okay? But all means checked. Right? And I'm willing to debate with any one of you that what I say is utter nonsense. The way Tabung Haji has been weaponized as a political weapon to entice Malay Muslim votes. With that, I thank you for your attention. May God bless you all today.